Hello friends, you're watching Prime USA News. I'm Juhi. Right now, we're bringing you the top-breaking stories from across the United States and around the world. Stories that impact your safety, your future, and your everyday life. Let's begin with today's top headlines. Trump's push for peace faces. Setback as Putin rejects any compromise on Ukraine. Russian President Vladimir Putin said today, Friday, that he will not compromise on his demands in Ukraine, dealing a setback to US President Donald Trump's push for a peace agreement. Putin made it clear that Russia expects Ukraine to cede territory, a demand that continues to block progress in peace talks, even as the United States and European leaders press for a diplomatic solution. Speaking at the annual meeting of Russia's defense ministry, Putin criticized Ukraine's European allies and warned that Moscow is prepared to use military force if diplomacy fails. While stating that Russia prefers negotiations to address what it calls the root causes of the conflict, Putin said Russia would achieve its goals through force if talks do not move forward. Territorial control and security guarantees remain the main obstacles to a deal. Russia has illegally annexed parts of eastern Ukraine's Donbas region, but does not fully control it. A US-based conflict monitor says that at the current pace, Russia would not fully seize the region for years. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has reiterated that Kyiv will not recognize occupied territory as Russian, underscoring the continued deadlock. Meanwhile, another major news story has emerged. Putin warns of expanded offensive in Ukraine as Russia celebrates battlefield gains. Russian President Vladimir Putin has delivered a powerful message on the Ukraine war during his annual press conference in Moscow, openly praising recent battlefield advances by Russian forces and signaling a tougher stance as tensions continue to rise. Speaking at an event that has become a defining feature of his nearly 25-year rule, Putin appeared emboldened by military gains at a moment when the United States and its allies are pushing diplomatic efforts to end the nearly 4-year-long conflict. Putin warned that if peace talks fail, Russia will move forward by force to seize the remaining territories of eastern Ukraine. As Russia's military campaign heads into another winter, these remarks have triggered renewed concern among international observers. According to Warwick News, Putin's statements highlight a more aggressive military strategy and a hardened foreign policy posture, raising fears of further escalation and wider geopolitical consequences tied to the ongoing Ukraine conflict. Meanwhile, another major news story has emerged. US military conducts major anti-drug operation in the Pacific. The United States military has conducted a large-scale anti-drug operation in the eastern Pacific Ocean, targeting vessels believed to be connected to international drug trafficking networks, resulting in the deaths of around 99 people, making it one of the deadliest US counter-narcotics missions in recent years. US defense officials said the boats were transporting significant quantities of illegal drugs, mainly cocaine, intended for distribution across North America, and military action was taken after repeated warnings to stop were ignored. According to the Pentagon, the operation followed international maritime law and was aimed at weakening powerful drug cartels that pose a serious threat to US national security. However, the high number of casualties has raised concerns among human rights groups and international observers, reigniting debate in Washington over the humanitarian impact and long-term effectiveness of aggressive military involvement in drug enforcement. Meanwhile, another major news story has emerged. Trump administration moves to end federal funding for transgender youth healthcare. The Trump administration has moved to cut federal funding for gender-affirming healthcare for transgender minors, a decision that has sparked intense political and public debate across the United States. Under the proposal, government programs such as Medicaid and Medicare would no longer cover certain treatments for transgender children, with officials arguing that these medical procedures require further scientific review before receiving public funding. Medical experts and LGBTQ advocacy groups have strongly criticized the move. warning it could negatively affect the mental and physical well-being of thousands of young people. Supporters of the policy say it protects children and parental rights, while opponents call it a violation of human rights, making the issue a likely flashpoint in upcoming elections and legal battles. Meanwhile, another major news story has emerged. US approves over $10 billion arms deal with Taiwan amid rising tensions with China. The United States has approved an arms deal worth more than $10 billion with Taiwan, including advanced missile systems, drones, radar equipment, and air defense technology aimed at strengthening Taiwan's ability to defend itself. US officials stated that the deal supports regional stability and follows long-standing American policy in the Indo-Pacific. China reacted angrily to the announcement, accusing Washington of violating the One China principle and interfering in its internal affairs. Chinese officials warned of serious consequences, while security analysts say the deal could further strain US-China relations and increase military tension in East Asia, making it a significant geopolitical development. Meanwhile, another major news story has emerged. Trump's political momentum falters as talk of a new US government grows stronger. Political discussions across the United States are increasingly focused on signs that Donald Trump's path back to power is no longer as strong as it once appeared, with growing indications that the country may be heading toward a new government and a different political direction. Recent polling trends, voter sentiment, and on-the-ground political signals suggest that Trump's dominance is facing serious resistance, raising questions about whether his campaign strategy can still secure a winning coalition.